I missed my calling. At least that's how I feel many times. Looking back at college, I stood there between the library and the theology center. My mind was pulled to the medical center where I could study medicine. I missed my calling. I chose medicine because mom needed money and ministry would make me poor. I'd spend the rest of my life haunted and taunted, caught between did I miss it or did I get it? And now at this stage of my life, having accomplished medicine and also trained in ministry, I wonder. You also, as a man, look at your life now and you see opportunities that you missed. There are relationships that you wonder, should she have been my wife? There are careers that you thought you could have done, but you were too afraid. There are ministry opportunities, many which you've let go. And as a man, in your quiet thoughts, the days have passed to months, have passed to years, and you wonder, have I missed my calling? I want to let you know there are people in the Bible who were gifted, born with a special promise. There are people in the Bible, one in particular, who God had given a special job. Born to a barren womb, a mother who could not make babies, Samson was called for such a time as this. Judges 13 says, the people of Israel were in sin and God needed a special man. And he was created. Were you designed and created for something special? Have you missed your calling? Now, Samson, gifted as he would find himself flirting with the ladies on the enemy's side. And though strong in physical strength, he was weak in moral strength. And Samson, every day that went by, missed opportunities for God. Whether it would be with the women that we wasted his time, or joking with men with his buddies, or fits of anger all across the land, Samson finally finds himself wrapped up in love with a woman named Delilah. Years were spent, and Samson, now a prophet of Israel, laying his head in the lap of an enemy. Sometimes we spend our resources and our energies missing our calling. As a matter of fact, if you look at your life, you've laid your head in the lap of Delilah. It may not be a woman. It may be money. It may be prestige. It may be your job. It may be your career. It may be your culture. You've placed your best of you in the lap of somebody that doesn't have the best interest in you. And in the process, we're missing our calling. Well, that night when his locks laid there on the ground and his eyes were poked out of his head, and they put him in bondage, bold and blind. And the Bible says in Judges chapter 16 that he did not even know that the Spirit of God had left him. Are you at times wondering if God is still with you? Do you ever question if you've missed your calling? Do you ever think it might be too late? Well, I've got news for you. As he lay there blind and bald and in bondage, late one night he rubbed his head and his hair began to grow back. Sometimes God takes everything from you so he can give you the thing that you need the most back. If you're at a stage in your life right now as a man and you're wondering if the past has passed you, I've got bad news and good news. The bad news is that God still has work for you to do. The good news is that God is still going to give you the power to do it. You might have missed the calling yesterday, but I want you to know today, if you join us in a series of men empowerment presentations, we're going to talk about how to get your calling back. 1, you may have missed it in the past. 2, God still has something for you to do in the present. 3, you're going to be better in the future than you ever were in the past, because with God, you never missed your calling. You always have an opportunity to return back home. The Bible says that Samson, he killed more men in the last part of his life than the beginning of his life. We are at the end of time with race riots around the world, coronavirus around the world, cultures in upheaval, the 10 toes of Egypt, of Europe that we see in Daniel chapter 2. We are at the end of time. God is calling on men. You don't have to be big. You don't have to be strong. You don't need to be rich. You can be just you. This is your finest moment. Join us as we give you the tools how to find your place. A, be aware of where you are. B, believe that God still wants to use you. And C, choose today to fulfill your calling. Join us next week, Wednesday, as we gather together to find out how to find your calling and do more in the last than you did in the beginning. God has called you. You have not missed your calling. You were created for such a time as this. Thank you very much. This is Dr. Stanley James Kunjani. God bless you.